If you've ever gone online, searching for that one simple trick, that quick fix for your metabolism or maybe your liver just to feel healthier, you've definitely seen the huge hype around apple cider vinegar, ACV. It gets called a cure-all for basically everything.
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere in the wellness space.
Yeah.
And look, it is useful, no doubt about it. But our job today really is to cut through some of that noise. We're not about the folklore here. We want the actual metabolic science. So we've looked at the sources, how ACV works, its main bits, acetic acid, polyphenols, and crucially for you, how to actually combine it with other things for specific results.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then. Because before we even talk about ACV as a tool, we have got to tackle this whole liver detox idea that's just, well, it's largely a myth pushed by the supplement industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
The liver is the detoxifier. It's the body's amazing lab, the filter. It works 2004/7. Honestly, the best way to help it isn't some fancy shot. It's just stop giving it garbage to deal with.
ACV can be powerful, yeah, but only if the groundwork is done. That is the absolute prerequisite. You nailed it. If you're still eating a lot of refined stuff, loads of sugar, processed flours, maybe gluten, not exercising, then adding ACV. It's like trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. It just won't cut it. ACV really shines once that foundation is solid. We're talking a better diet, less inflammatory food like too much dairy, getting moving with strength and cardio, proper sleep, 6-8 hours, and actually managing stress. If you're already doing that, then ACV becomes this fantastic little multiplier.
Okay, so let's assume people listening have put in that foundational work. How do we actually use it? Implementation. The big question is timing. When? All the stuff we looked at points to taking ACV before meals.
Right. And that immediately brings up how you take it, which is super important for well safety.
Yeah.
You mix about a tablespoon of ACV with water in a glass. Dilution is key. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room, your teeth. Dental health. ACV is acidic. Over time, it can definitely erode tooth enamel.
Yeah, we want the metabolic boost, not an unexpected dentist bill. So how do we make sure this helpful tool doesn't backfire?
You've got to be careful about direct contact. Honestly, the safest way. Use a straw. Just bypass the teeth altogether. Or, at the very minimum, make absolutely sure you rinse your mouth really well with plain water right after you drink it. Don't let that acid just sit there.
Okay, let's get into the why now, the biology. Why specifically before a meal? What's the acetic acid doing in the stomach?
So it doesn't exactly paralyze the stomach, that's maybe too strong a word, but what it does is significantly slow down gastric emptying. This whole process is really complex, involves nerves and hormones. By putting that acid in before the food hits, you're basically telling your digestive system, hey, slow down how fast you release food into the small intestine.
Ah, that timing makes so much sense. And when you think about what the stomach actually does, that's where the real value comes in.
Precisely. The stomach has two main jobs, really critical ones. First, the chemical function. It needs to be super acidic, like really acidic. That acid acts as a buffer for the whole body's pH, helps balance things out. Plus, it breaks down food and kills off nasty bugs. If that acid environment is off maybe from years of antacids, you can run into some serious problems.
And like you mentioned from the sources, it's not just digestion. It could even lead to something like osteoporosis down the line.
Absolutely. If your stomach isn't acidic enough, you just can't absorb minerals properly. Calcium, magnesium, some B vitamins. They need that acid. So yeah, poor stomach pH is this kind of silent contributor to malabsorption, which can definitely impact bone health eventually. The stomach's second job is mechanical. It churns, mixes, grinds up the food after you chew it, getting it ready for the next stage. ACV helps both these functions by keeping food in that acidic churning environment a bit longer.
Right. So what's the payoff for the listener? What does that longer stomach time actually mean? Slower emptying means digestion is more efficient. Nutrients get processed better. And the big one, blood glucose spikes. Much smoother, less traumatic. Because nutrients aren't just dumping into the intestine all at once. Plus, things like bloating or that post-meal acid feeling often get better because the stomach actually finishes its job properly.
Yes, but here's that important caveat again. We have to stress this. If you already deal with bad chronic acidity or reflux, taking ACV first thing on an empty stomach or sipping it all day, probably not the best idea for you. Use it strategically just before meals to help digestion. That's the sweet spot.
Okay, now that we've got the how and why down, let's switch gears a bit. Let's think about ACV not just as a digestive aid, but more like part of a toolkit, using it to boost other natural compounds, tailor the approach for specific health goals.
Exactly. This is where we start connecting the dots. We take this, cheap, simple kitchen staple and turn it into something much more personalized.
All right, first target, something tons of people struggle with, pain and inflammation. We're always looking for natural ways to manage that instead of reaching for pills. So for goal 1, pain and inflammation, what's the combo we add to the ACV?
The core combination here is ACV plus turmeric plus black pepper. This trio is fantastic because it helps the liver clean house, basically. It helps get rid of cellular junk, dead tissue stuff that really drives inflammation throughout the body. And the interesting thing about turmeric, science backs it up. It has anti-inflammatory and pain relief effects similar to drugs like ibuprofen.
You pointed out something specific about turmeric versus curcumin earlier. Is that distinction important?
It really is. Curcumin is the famous compound, right?
Yeah.
But it's just one active part of turmeric, the whole root. It has this whole symphony of compounds working together. That synergy is what you want for the full anti-inflammatory effect. You want the whole root, not just an isolated extract.
Got it. And the black pepper, what's its role?
Black pepper's got piperine. That compound dramatically increases how well your body absorbs and uses the turmeric by up to 20 times, apparently. So yeah, it's pretty much non-negotiable. Now, if you're really dealing with chronic pain, you can kind of build on that. You could add things like ginger, oregano, rosemary, potentially create a master formula.
So should someone try to take all those ACV, turmeric, pepper, ginger, oregano, rosemary together? Or is ACV plus turmeric plus pepper the starting point?
Definitely start with the foundation. ACV, turmeric, black pepper. Think of those as the engine. The others, ginger, oregano, rosemary, are great boosters you could rotate in, see how you feel, but nail the first 3 first.
Okay, moving on. A huge metabolic challenge for so many, blood sugar. For goal 2, blood glucose management, maybe even type 2 diabetes, what supplements work well with ACV?
For this, we're looking at ACV combined with chromium picolinate and berberine. That's a really powerful trio.
Let's pause on berberine for a sec. The sources suggested it's incredibly potent, like comparable effects to metformin, the diabetes drug. That's a big statement. Why is it so effective?
It's a valid comparison. Berberine works through a few different pathways to help manage blood sugar. One key thing is it activates AMPK. Think of that as the master switch for metabolism inside your cells. It improves how sensitive your cells are to insulin, and it also tells the liver to produce less glucose. So you get this great synergy, ACV slowing down sugar absorption, chromium and berberine making your cells respond better. It really helps the liver handle fats and improves your overall glycemic control.
Right. Next up, goal 3, lipid function. Specifically triglycerides. I always try to remind people cholesterol itself isn't the bad guy. Your brain, your cells, hormones, they need cholesterol. A high number, say 340, might not even be the main issue. It's often the high triglycerides, which usually comes from the liver, turning excess sugar and junky fats into storage fat.
That really is the crux of it. So for improving lipids, the combo is ACV plus, well, obviously a fundamental healthy diet that's non-negotiable, plus omega-3, specifically the EPA and DHA fatty acids. Omega-3 encourages the liver to get better at processing fats and, importantly, stops it from making so many of those problematic triglycerides from poor quality fats.
Okay, and a super relevant point here. What if someone listening is already taking statins for cholesterol? Should they add anything else to this mix?
Yes, absolutely. If you're on statins, you really should combine this approach with coenzyme Q10 or CoQ10. Statins are important for some people, but they have the side effect of depleting CoQ10. And CoQ10 is vital for energy production, think mitochondria. But also, in this context, it's needed to transport lipids correctly, including to the brain. So adding CoQ10 helps limit potential neurological or energy issues that statins can sometimes cause.
Okay, our final goal area, goal 4. Improving poor liver function and sleep. This one feels very personal for a lot of folks. That classic 3 a.m. wake up, waking up wide awake between 3:00 and 3:30 a.m., can't get back to sleep. That's often a big flashing light for liver overload or maybe stress hormone imbalance.
And if you connect that symptom to the bigger picture, it totally makes sense. Your liver, your whole metabolic system, immune system, even your brain, they all do their heavy cleaning and repair work at night. You need that solid block of sleep, minimum 68 hours. So if that 3 a.m. wake up is your pattern, the suggested combo is ACV plus melatonin, usually somewhere between 5 and 10 milligrams.
And then the timing for this one is key too, right? It's not taken right before hitting the pillow.
Exactly. Take it earlier in the evening, maybe around 7:00 or 8:00 p.m., sort of when the sun's going down, when your body should be starting its own melatonin production. But look, this has to go hand in hand with those foundational changes we talked about. Better food, exercise, getting actual sunlight during the day to set your body clock. And if you need more support, you could carefully try adding things like 5-HTP or GABA, but test them one by one, see how you react. Don't just throw everything in at once.
Wow, what a journey. We've taken ACV, something often just seen as a health fad, and really broken it down into a practical, customizable strategy. It's cheap, it's easy to find, but it delivers these results when you use the right technique before meals and combine it smartly with these other targeted, evidence-backed compounds. You listening now have the info to turn a simple bottle of vinegar into a really specific tool for your own metabolic health.
Knowledge is definitely power. But we absolutely have to say, again, please be smart about this. Any major change, especially adding multiple supplements, or if you're already managing something like diabetes or high cholesterol,
Right.
you really need to do this under the guidance of a qualified professional, someone with an integrative, functional view who's up to date on this stuff.
Couldn't agree more. So, final thought to leave you with. If sorting out your liver function and stopping that disruptive 3 a.m. wake up is so important for repair, what could happen for your overall metabolic health? And maybe even how you handle stress when you consistently help your body's nightly repair cycles using simple targeted combos like ACV and melatonin. Which one of these combinations are you thinking about trying first?